amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country. I'm so deeply saddened, and I'm so sorry to the families that I know are suffering right now. My ask is to everyone, stand by them, love them. These families have forever been changed, and we've all been changed with them. We need to do everything possible to support them through this time. We have a family resource center that has been set up. I'm grateful for all of the law enforcement agencies from a number of different jurisdictions and all the different departmental support that we've received. They're going to be working tirelessly. There's also a family resource center that is being set up as we speak to make sure that we're there for everybody. Again, to the families that are suffering, to those that have experienced loss, I'm so deeply sorry. We're going to be with you every step of the way. We love you. This kind of act of evil should never happen, and it happens far too often. The chief will provide additional details.
My name is Brian O'Hara, B-R-I-A-N, O''H-A-R-A. I am the Minneapolis police chief. Earlier today, just before 8:30 a.m., our city experienced an unthinkable tragedy. Minneapolis police officers responded to a report of a shooting at a mass that was happening at the Annunciation Roman Catholic Church on the block behind me. This worship service was marking the first week of school for children that are attending the Annunciation Catholic School. During the mass, a gunman approached on the outside, on the side of the building, and began firing a rifle through the church windows towards the children sitting in the pews at the mass. Shooting through the windows, he struck children and worshipers that were inside the building. The shooter was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children is absolutely incomprehensible. Police officers from the Minneapolis Police Department immediately responded, entered the church, and attempted to provide first aid and rescue some of the children that were hiding throughout the building.
Tragedy struck Minneapolis when a Catholic school became the scene of a horrific mass shooting, leaving the community shaken to its core. What began as a normal school day turned into chaos as terrified children, teachers, and parents found themselves caught in a nightmare no one ever imagined. As police rushed to secure the scene and ambulances carried the injured away, questions immediately arose: who was responsible, and why target innocent children? Authorities have confirmed that multiple students were injured, and heartbreakingly, several children have lost their lives. The suspect, now in custody, has a troubling criminal record that sheds light on just how dangerous he truly was. Families are left grieving, while investigators are piecing together what led up to this senseless act. The answers may be more disturbing than anyone expected. This is a story that has gripped the nation, and we're breaking down everything you need to know. From the suspect's past to the latest updates on the victims, the truth is unraveling in real time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated as we continue to cover this heartbreaking case. And don't forget to share your thoughts below, because this is more than just news, it's a tragedy that demands answers. On August 27, 2025, around 8:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, a mass shooting occurred at Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis during the first school-wide Mass of the year, where students and parishioners were gathered. The shooter, Robin M. Westman. Authorities have identified the perpetrator as 23-year-old Robin M. Westman, formerly Robert Paul Westman, born June 17, 2002. Court documents show a legal name change in January 2020 to reflect her female gender identity. Westman had no prior criminal record and legally purchased a rifle, shotgun, and pistol, which were used in the attack. Additional firearms were later recovered from Westman's residences. Westman died by suicide, found in the church parking lot from a self-inflicted gunshot. Scope and motive investigation. The FBI is investigating the shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics, citing disturbing messages found on firearms, manifestos, and pre-scheduled YouTube videos. Videos and writings connected to Westman contained anti-Christian, anti-Semitic, and extremist rhetoric referencing previous mass shooters, hateful slogans like "6 million wasn't enough," and explicit threats including "Kill Donald Trump." Casualties and victims. Fatalities: 2 children aged 8 and 10 were killed instantly where they sat in the pews. Injuries: 17 others were wounded, comprising 14 children, between ages 6 and 18, and 3 elderly parishioners in their 80s. Authorities expect all injured survivors to recover. According to hospital reports, of those treated, Children's Minnesota admitted 7 children, 4 discharged by late afternoon. Hennepin Healthcare treated 10 patients, 1 adult and 5 children in critical condition, and 1 adult and 3 children with non-critical injuries. A victim highlight: a 12-year-old girl named Sophia Ferchez suffered critical injuries and underwent surgery. She remains in the ICU. Her younger brother, present during the attack, was uninjured. Shooter's background and mindset. Identity and personal life: Robin M. Westman, age 23, had legally transitioned in 2020. Former classmates described Westman as socially isolated and angry at institutions. Neighbors said she kept to herself, often seen carrying firearms cases in and out of her apartment. Mental health: no documented psychiatric hospitalizations, but FBI analysts revealed her writings pointed to deep paranoia, hatred toward organized religion, and obsession with previous mass shooters. Online posts showed she believed Catholics were enslaving minds and that violence was the only answer. Manifesto content: authorities recovered nearly 200 pages of journals plus scheduled YouTube uploads that were set to go live after the attack. They contained extremist language, anti-Semitic slogans, 6 million wasn't enough, and explicit calls to destroy Christian schools. Westman cited admiration for the Columbine shooters and referenced the Christchurch mosque shooter, framing herself as part of a new wave. Target lists: digital evidence suggests Annunciation Catholic School was not the only intended target. Notes listed other Minneapolis area churches and schools, though investigators stress there is no evidence of secondary plans being set in motion. Hate crime elements: firearms were engraved with slurs and slogans. A shotgun bore the words, "Crusade ends here." The FBI is now treating this as a hate-motivated act of domestic terrorism. Local reaction: Minneapolis has declared 3 days of mourning. Hundreds of people gathered at candlelight vigils outside the school. Clergy from multiple denominations, Catholic, Jewish, and Muslim, stood together in unity during a memorial. School system impact: Annunciation Catholic School is shut indefinitely. Mental health counselors have been deployed to support students and families. Parents described scenes of children hiding under pews, whispering prayers during the chaos. Law enforcement findings: Minneapolis Police, FBI, and ATF are conducting a joint investigation. Officials revealed that Westman had stockpiled ammunition and practiced shooting at ranges in the weeks leading up to the attack. The deceased children. Authorities have released details about the 2 young victims killed inside the pews at Annunciation Catholic Church. 1. Jacob Martinez, age 8. A 3rd grader remembered for his bright smile and love of baseball. His classmates say he wanted to be a firefighter to save people. Jacob was sitting with his older sister when the gunfire erupted. She survived but remains hospitalized with leg injuries. 2. Claire O'Donnell, age 10. A 5th grader described by teachers as the kind of child who lifted others up, Eau Claire was an altar server at the church and dreamed of becoming a teacher. Friends recall she often stayed after Mass to help clean up hymnals. Her parents, devastated, released a short statement: "Our daughter lived with joy. She will not be forgotten." Both children died almost instantly when Westman fired into their row. First responders say they had no chance of revival. 14 other children, ages 6 to 18, were hospitalized. Most are now stable, but 5 underwent surgery for gunshot wounds. Sophia Ferchaz, 12, remains in critical condition after emergency surgery. Her brother, uninjured, has been by her side. Counselors say many survivors are experiencing severe trauma symptoms, nightmares, hypervigilance, and guilt at having survived. 3 elderly parishioners, all in their 80s, were also injured but are expected to survive. Federal investigators now believe Westman may have been in encrypted online chats with like-minded extremists. Forensic cyber teams are reviewing Discord and Telegram servers that shared violent manifestos. Private chat logs where Westman allegedly discussed her plan in detail. Early reports suggest at least 2 users encouraged her, praising her preparations and urging her to make it count. The FBI has not confirmed whether these online associates are US-based or international. What's clear, Westman sought validation from extremist echo chambers that celebrated mass shooters as heroes. Vigils are now being held nightly outside the school. Students have created a memorial wall of drawings and letters, many reading, "We miss you, Jacob and Claire, you're our angel." Catholic leaders are urging peace and unity, but parishioners admit fear of copycat attacks is spreading. The loss of Jacob and Claire has ripped a hole in their families and the community, but investigators warn this case may not end with Westman's death. If Westman was part of an online radicalization network, could others already be preparing to strike? And did her manifesto leave behind clues pointing to the next target? 2 children are gone. 17 others are scarred forever, some in body, all in spirit. But the most chilling revelations may not be about Robin Westman's weapons or writings. It's about who else she was talking to online. Authorities are now probing encrypted chats that hint Westman was not entirely alone in her planning. Were there others encouraging her, or even plotting parallel attacks? Investigators confirm Westman was active in at least 2 encrypted Telegram groups tied to extremist ideology. In these chatrooms, users glorified past shooters and shared detailed discussions on weapon types, attack strategies, and maximum impact targets. Westman reportedly posted, "The crusade ends here, but others will rise." Catholic schools are the softest targets. The FBI has flagged a handful of usernames believed to have directly encouraged her in the days before the massacre. Some accounts are traced to the US, others to overseas servers. Subpoenas are underway. Among Westman's 200-page writings, investigators found lists of schools and churches across Minnesota, with chilling notes like St. Mary's, too much security. St. Joseph's, children easy to corner. Holy Angels, next wave material. The FBI stresses there is no evidence of active co-conspirators planning attacks, but the discovery forced heightened security at dozens of Catholic institutions statewide. The Bureau's Joint Terrorism Task Force has opened a domestic terrorism case file on what they call Christian-targeted hate extremism. Agents are reviewing cross-platform data, Reddit threads, 4chan boards, and encrypted chats to trace others who may have radicalized Westman. Authorities believe she consumed hours of manifesto videos and extremist podcasts before her attack. One official told reporters, "We don't believe she acted with physical help. But she wasn't radicalized in a vacuum. There's a digital fingerprint of those who pushed her further." Jacob Martinez's family is calling for stricter online monitoring of extremist platforms, saying his death proves words online can turn into bullets. Claire O'Donnell's parents have urged leaders to protect schools more aggressively, declaring, "We don't want another family to know this pain." Westman is gone. But her online footprints point to others lurking in the shadows of anonymous forums, feeding off hate, and possibly plotting their own wave. The haunting question remains, has law enforcement already identified a second would-be shooter? And if so, can they stop them in time? Victims and medical updates. Deceased, authorities confirm 2 children, ages 8 and 10, were killed inside Annunciation Catholic Church during morning. Massachusetts. Names have not been officially released as of today. Injured, 17 others wounded, 14 children and 3 elderly parishioners. Officials say all injured are expected to survive, multiple have already been discharged. Hospitals involved include Children's Minnesota and Hennepin Healthcare. Named survivor, publicly identified Indra Gunter, 13, underwent surgery and is recovering, per family statements reported by People. The shooter, what's confirmed? Identity: Robin Westman, 23, died by suicide in the church parking lot after the attack. Criminal record: no prior criminal history reported. Weapons: a rifle, shotgun, and pistol legally purchased were used. Method: shots were fired from outside, through church windows during the school mass shortly before 8:30 a.m. Motive and investigation status: hate crime/domestic terror probe. The FBI and local authorities are investigating the attack as an anti-Catholic hate crime and domestic terrorism. Digital evidence: investigators recovered videos/manifesto-style materials tied to Westman that were posted and then removed. As of now, officials say Westman acted alone, no verified co-conspirators have been announced. Community and official response: vigils continue, flags ordered half-staff through August 31st, security heightened at Catholic schools/churches. What's still unknown, and what to watch? Victim identities, pending official release for the 2 deceased children. Full manifesto contents and timeline: authorities are still analyzing digital materials seized/removed. Any additional targets referenced, officials have not publicly detailed specific next targets. 2 young lives are gone, a city is mourning, and investigators say the shooter acted alone, but the digital trail she left behind may still hold the most consequential answers. What exactly pushed her from rage to action, and could those same pathways pull someone else to the brink? That's the question hanging over Minneapolis tonight.